Hi guys, it's Mr. Posture Bryan, and as mentioned before, I want to get a good insight of what Bryan Johnson did to help with his posture. He seemed to struggle and he used certain exercises, so I'm going to watch his video and I'm just going to comment a whole way along the journey on if I would have done anything different and if I was his posture coach, what I would maybe do or what I would implement on it. So let's get started and watch and see how it's going.
Posture in our modern society is pretty bad. We sit in our chairs all day. We have really bad habits of looking at our phones down on our laps. We're prone to bad posture. It's normalized. We don't even realize it's happening, but it's really bad for us. I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can start off with as you work to have good posture. It takes time. It's hard. It's going to make you sore. You're going to find it to be really uncomfortable, but it's worth it. So stick with it. It just takes some time to build the muscles.
I think anyone that's working on posture can relate to that. And I would agree with posture work. Sometimes we think we're going to do it wrong, only because it's so short to start. But remember, it's an exercise. So trying to rebuild our posture back up, you're using muscles to hold ourselves up. So it is training, so it is sore, we're restacking it, but like all these things, the more we do it, the better we get at it, the easier it gets, and then it takes very little energy to hold, but still it takes a little bit, but a lot of it can be tight muscles. If everything's tight and stiff, you're nearly working against resistance, so loosening things out is a really good help to start with, and then pretty much stacking everything back on top of that. But let's get into his exercises.
So the 5 things are, first, imagine you have a string going through your spine, up through your head, and it's pulled straight up. So when I'm trying to find the right posture position, I'm just imagining someone pulling that string above my head. I'm trying to have my head straight like that. That's a really nice starting position. Number 2 is I try to avoid things that
Yeah, this string one, I quite like it. I'll get people, it's a good cue to use. I do find some people work really well with it. They know exactly how to pull themselves up, and there's other people that I've worked with and they can't really seem to understand it, or they lose it. Sometimes I would have people, instead of thinking about the string pulling up, think about someone pulling their hair up out of their head, and they really feel the tug pull. So whatever cue you can use, and there's also another one I would say, if people can imagine that the back of their head is being clasped. So you can imagine back here, that if someone's pulling the back of your head up, that can help to encourage the back of the head up and the pulling upwards. But yep, any cue that helps to pull you through, it's a really good one if you're sitting too long. Good one, Bryan. On the next one.
Number 2 is fight bad posture, and the phone is the worst. You pull it up and the default position is down. When I have my phone up, I hold it up. It's awkward and it's potentially embarrassing to be the person holding your phone up like this. When I put my phone down and I move my head, I instantaneously feel it. I can feel the flow from my jugular veins actually stop. I'm that sensitized now to feeling this. 3 is I move.
Yeah, when you start working on your posture, you'll be able to relate a little bit, maybe not to his complete sensitivity. Obviously he works in his body so much, he's become really in tune with it. But when you start working on your posture, you will recognize the muscles that need to engage to work, and you're very in tune to whenever the posture starts to go, you need to want to rewind back up again. But this takes time and it's a process, but yep, within the
every 5 minutes throughout the day. So I'll do a bunch of movements. I'll do like a lunge, or I'll get down on my knees or raise my arms. I'll do various stretches to move my body about. It helps me reset my body to have fresh posture. And then 4 is I do 2 exercises every day that help.
So that's also a great one. Sometimes it's easier said than done. The more we're in one position, then the more likely we are to fall into that position and crown away. If we're slightly moving all the time, we don't have the same problem with posture, because the body doesn't get into one position and wants to slouch into it. So I do agree with that, but in the modern lifestyle, most people can't be able to do that. We're maybe in an office environment and we're stuck in one position, but there is other wee things that we can do. Maybe not just somewhat lunging, but I'll always help people just gently turning the head from side to side. Gently helps to move, or even turning around the back of the shoulders, because that twisting tends to open things up and making things align more, or even crossing the leg up and then just leaning into the leg, and a little bit of movement, but we make it work. But obviously we can do what we want, but sometimes we're just so focused and centered on our work that we just end up in one position too long. It's kind of why I like head rolling, because if we can apply a weight to our head, it keeps us in check all the time. and we don't let that slouch happen. But that's my point of view coming from it. But let's go on to this next one.
We strengthen the muscles, and you'll see this in the video with Gahito. He'll show you the exact muscles. They're small, they're very hard to get to. You're not going to hit them at the gym by doing bicep curls and lunges and other stuff. They're really nuanced. And so the first one is, it's highly technical, and it took me a long time to get this.
Yeah, no, I like the way he says that, because I also repeat that. That head crowning is great. It is a great one. So whenever you're to the side, you are rotating the head back. It helps to lengthen out these muscles here. So there's no doubt about it. Our head, if I was to the side, is when we're going, it tends to want to fall down. So when we're keeping our head up, just like he was mentioning, it's that crowning here of drawing back, because the neck wants to curve forward so we can keep the pressure here, and he was trying to constantly crown back up. It's these here muscles that are erected upright that help to hold our head up. So these back muscles here keep our neck in place, and he was constantly engaging them, which is a great one to do. I tend to like to focus this one. He was doing them just freestyle, but I tend to really like to work this here against the wall with the wall stand, mainly because it helps you to work in against something. I really like when you've got a wall and your head's at the back of the wall, you can really push into it and add that resistance. Then when you're off the wall, you're nearly having to fight for the wall. So I like to do it against the wall ideally. He was just doing it freehand, but that would be my area on leaning into that.
Right, is you want to have your elbows back, your shoulders like this position, weights in your hand. You want to bring your shoulders up and out. But in doing that, you're strengthening these core muscles around that maintain your posture. And the second one is hands on the forehead with some light pressure, and then you're moving your head up.
So yeah, that one, it's an interesting one. It wouldn't be my first to think about shoulders, pulling them right back. I do like the idea of the mobility exercise. The stronger you are to rotate the shoulders, mobilize them, it is better. What I would probably do if I was his posture coach is definitely loosen them up, but I would do a lot more wall stands to help to pin the wall, your arms tight up against the wall, because then you're training the muscles to stay in that position. So then your shoulders know where to sit. It's just when you're loosening that out, how do you know where the set point of straight is? You know, it's just very difficult to know. So I would go back to the wall stand on me. Let's go on to the next one.
Ever so slightly. When you begin working on your posture, you're going to feel incredibly sore. It's gonna hurt all over, and you're gonna feel all the muscles you never felt. You're gonna find out it takes a lot of muscle to maintain proper posture. Improving my posture has been one of the most important things I've done in the entire effort of Blueprint. There's also this really interesting element of identity where
that's amazing for him to say that. That's amazing for him to say that. I've been working with posture and as a therapist for 15 plus years in the training, everything, and I can say the exact same. It's kind of why I'm passionate at what I do. Getting the posture right, getting the body structurally right first, and then building from that is the starting point. It's very hard to build a strong body on a weak foundation. So once you have everything on all the bones stacked up and everything in its place, structurally strong with the posture, then you build strength and power from that, because your body functions better. And I love the fact that he's witnessed that, and now obviously he's got a lot of credibility and experience and a lot of power behind him. So him getting that message and word out is great, and I can honestly say from experience it's exactly the same. Going back to what he was saying about how painful it is at the start to listen everything out, absolutely. There is things to help along the way. Getting tissue work done really helps. It softens the muscles and makes them a lot easier. So I would add that in. If sometimes people are so tight. Now obviously it's very specific to working on your posture. Everyone's so individual. But with working on posture, some people are very tight and stiff. So tissue work is great to loosen the body out to start with. And then I would do a lot of mobilization, stretching everything out, loosening things out. Like if you're making pizza, you have the dough, then you start kneading it, then you start moving it and making a bigger base and kneading and moving, and then it's easier to set in place. And our muscles are very like that, so that's what I would encourage. Wee bit of tissue work, wee bit of stretching, wee bit of hot and cold can help, just to loosen things up. Then when things are a lot more supple, it's a lot easier then to work on your posture and to line things up. And likes of wall stands, head loading would be two really good foundational ones. I would do ones for the shoulders for sure. Just wall slides would be another good one, and rotation, external rotation for the shoulders is another good one. But let's get back on to Bryan.
When you maintain proper posture and you put you're standing up straight, It's a representation that you're proud of yourself and that you're okay to be who you are, and you don't need to shy away from others and be like, oh, I'm just grateful I'm here. Like, you're proud to be alive, you're happy to be alive. People are going to immediately identify you have unusual posture that's good because everyone around you has bad posture. So do it. It will have a very positive effect of encouraging others to also be aware. It's really hard to maintain bad posture when you're around somebody who's maintaining good posture. So it has really positive effects on everyone you're around.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with that more. Have you ever been like at a dinner table and everyone's surely sitting upright, and then you'll end up wanting to sit upright and perk yourself up? But if everyone's slouching, you tend to go to them. We tend to mold into our environment because we don't want to naturally stand out. So whenever you prop yourself up, people will notice it and will elevate themselves, and it creates a nice rhythm of adaptation. Absolutely. And it does give a purpose of standing strong in your body. There's something to said about it far further than that. One, our body actually functions better, like our whole respiratory system works better, our lungs, heart works better, every organ functions better, our blood, nerve functions better. So it has massive health implications for improving. But it does give a sense of identity. Like he said, whenever you're standing tall and strong, you really feel grounded in yourself and more aware, and it's so much more approachable to people. You're more likely to catch eye contact with people, and you create that openness that is more nice to respond to. So you create that environment there that's nice and reciprocated well. So I would agree. So on that there small video clip, I think I give Bryan a thumbs up. One, for bringing attention to his posture and for working on his posture and then experiencing the benefits of that. And obviously now, once you have that instilled, you become more of it's really to do with your awareness in your posture. Once you bring awareness to it, it's very hard to fall away from it because it's with you now all the time. It's like you stand upright, you breathe better, you feel better, everything starts to connect, and you become more in tune with your body, which helps. As mentioned, Bryan, his approach would have been slightly different to everyone else's approach because we all have different bodies, and as a posture coach, you have to work individually with people, and we all need help. Like a personal trainer, you're going to a personal trainer, he will work his system and his exercises to suit the client. And it's a wee bit like with posture and therapy in that way. You're going to work with the client depending on what you need. But likewise, I have a great load of videos in the rest of my channel. The link will be down below to help with posture. If I was taking Bryan on, I love the exercises that he done, and they tend to suit him more in his environment. Obviously he's on his own, but I would probably add a few different elements of a little bit more stretching and mobility. Although he seems to have that in place, I would add that into the mix. I'd add a little bit of head rolling to fire the back erector muscles on the neck, and I would add some wall stands. Probably that's where I find has the longest lasting benefits on really strengthening those muscles. But other than that, I think Bryan, I think he's great. I love what he does. I love that he's got a passion for what he does. Like posture, people tend to think it is more, oh, it's good for appearance, but actually and anyone that's big into their niche, I think it's great. So keep doing the good work, Bryan, and spreading the message. And it's a thumbs up from me here, Vince at Posture Prime. And I hope that he keeps working on his posture, and I hope this message helps. If you'd like to see more videos about the critiquing or demonstrating mention in the comments below. And until now, I'll see you guys on the next video.